Welcome back to Film Infection. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every single Marvel movie and show that have come out in the year of 2021. Let's get into it. Coming in last place is going to be The Eternals, a horrible movie. Way too many characters, way too many plot lines, way too many ideas. It's very pretentious, okay? This movie it's annoying. I don't like it, okay? The only thing good I can say about this movie is that visually it was impressive, okay? I like the visuals, but that's it, okay? That's all you get. Besides the visuals, the movie was awful. It was bad, okay? Coming in second to last place, I don't even know how many I'm ranking. Number 9, Venom Let There Be Carnage. It's technically part of the MCU, so I'm gonna include it here, okay? This movie was not as good as people were saying it was, okay? It was definitely not an improvement over the first movie. The first movie had a surprising amount of charm, somewhat cohesive story. Okay, I kind of liked it, okay? This movie felt like it was made for like little kids, but it was still like violent and stuff. You know, it moved way too fast. None of the character developments were fleshed out in any way. None of the plot was. It was really bad, okay? A lot of people have been saying Woody Harrelson was like one of the good parts and he does a great job at playing the crazy guy. To me, it just came off as over the top and cartoonish. I thought his girlfriend Shriek was gonna be an interesting villain and have maybe a somewhat sympathetic motive, but she, by the end, was just your classic evil MCU villain who just wants to do bad stuff and laughs like a cartoon villain after they do something evil. So the villains were not good, but the post-credit scene was cool, so I guess that sort of bumped it up a spot for me. It's good to know Venom will be in the MCU now, and I like Tom Hardy's Venom, so hopefully he's better when he's alongside Tom Holland or somebody. Coming in at number 8 is gonna be Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay, originally this was the Marvel show I was most excited for, okay? But then I watched the show and they just screwed everything up, like astronomically. It was horrible. I did not enjoy this show. Like, whose idea was it to make the villain so like dumb and then also try to paint her as sympathetic at the same time? They were trying to be like, oh, she's just misguided by this stupid idea, but she is a good person at heart. It's like, okay, maybe she's a good person, but why are you spending so much time trying to get me to empathize with her and spending like zero time trying to get me to be scared of her, right? Like, she's the villain. You should make me want to be like, oh crap, it's the villain coming, but that doesn't happen. But another thing I didn't like was that Falcon and Bucky were not like great, you know? Those are like my favorite side characters in the MCU. I love the Winter Soldier movie, and I was hoping this show would just be like a TV show version of the Winter Soldier movie, but it wasn't, okay? None of Sam or Bucky's charm was used to like make the show more enjoyable, you know? So that was kind of annoying. Yeah, overall, not great, okay? Number 7, Black Widow. Okay, I liked this movie, mostly just because of Black Widow's sister. I thought she was a good character. But otherwise, no, this movie was bad, okay? I don't think this was a good Black Widow story to tell. They should have told the story of Budapest, because that sounded like it could have been interesting, you know? And maybe show the origins of Black Widow, not as a flashback, but actually just have that be the story, right? And maybe incorporate some villain or whatever in there. Not tell some story in the middle of the events of the MCU that have already happened, right? Because it makes this movie feel so insignificant. When we know that there's about to be an alien who's gonna attack, the whole Black Widow core and everything feels very like insignificant and unimportant compared to what's gonna happen in Infinity War and Endgame. And since we already know that's happening, this movie just feels out of place, and it has a hard time justifying its existence. So I didn't really like it, but then at the end they try to go all big. I guess I could have liked it a little more if they tried to really lean into that small aspect of the movie, but they didn't. At the end they tried to go with a big spectacle final battle, and it didn't work in my opinion. Coming in at number 6 is gonna be WandaVision. I thought the show was pretty good, okay? The middle of this show is probably the best of all the MCU shows, but the ending sucked. I mean, this was one of the most disappointing endings that we've ever had, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It just ended with a sky beam, okay? This show was supposed to explore the character of Wanda, right? And supposed to explore her powers, explore blah, 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 how her emotions are tied to the magic and everything. Like, that could have been cool. And the middle of the show was doing that through the styles of the sitcoms and everything, you know? I like that. That was interesting to me. But then it just ends with people punching each other in the sky and there's an evil vision and blah, blah, blah. And it was a lame ending in my opinion. So if the middle of your show is good, but then it ends badly, you don't get to be high on the list. Coming in at number 5 is gonna be What If? I liked this show. I liked some episodes. Okay, I liked the finale. I liked how everyone teamed up. And of course, the Doctor Strange episode. That was awesome. Evil Doctor Strange. Mephisto, I guess? I don't know. Some of the episodes in here weren't great and felt kind of stupid. But I liked the concept of it, okay? It would have been cooler if it was in live action, obviously. But some of the episodes in here were good, and I don't know. Overall, I had a good time with it, but it wasn't anything, you know, spectacular. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Loki. I like this show. I thought this was going to be my favorite show until Hawkeye came out. I really liked that one. But Loki was good, okay? I liked the relationship between Owen Wilson and Loki. That was cool. I love the multiverse at the end, but I also love the time traveling and everything. You know, I wish they would have explored that a little more. This definitely would have been my favorite show if the ending didn't suck so bad. I mean, the whole thing was just people sitting around talking about stuff, basically just advertising season 2, you know? Like, it wasn't interested in wrapping up the first season. They were just being like, oh, look how cool season 2 is gonna be. Whoa. You know, I don't think that was a very good way to end the show. If it would have been this is the kind of show where you have a big action spectacle at the end. Okay, they should have switched WandaVision's finale and this one around, right? This one should have been some big old multiversal battle in space, something cool like that. But it was just them sitting around with Jonathan Majors making funny noises and stuff, you know? It was boring as hell. Whose idea was it to end the show like this? Hopefully season 2 is better. Maybe this will go up on my list if season 2 ends better. Coming in number 3 is going to be Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I already said that I liked this movie because it was less predictable. Okay, like it wasn't your just like Iron Man type origin story, you know, where it's like using that same template but like with a different character. So I like that part, and I like that the villain was his dad and he actually had a good motive, you know, getting his wife back. So that was cool. But besides that, I mean, this movie just didn't have any like juice to it, you know. There wasn't that X factor. A lot of these Marvel movies have some X factor to them. Like in Iron Man, it's Robert Downey Jr.'s charm. Usually it's the lead actor's charm, which I don't think the guy who plays Shang-Chi has that much. He has some, you know, but he needed someone else, and I don't think Awkwafina did a good job at bringing that to the table. But besides that, the concept just wasn't cool enough to carry the movie because everything else was pretty well done. It's just the concept and the story they went with. They did the best they could, but it's obvious Shang-Chi doesn't have the best mythology to pull from when it comes to telling a compelling story. Number 2 is gonna be Hawkeye. I really like this show, okay? I didn't like it at first. At first I thought it was boring, and it's like, oh, it's just gonna be this, you know? But by the end, the last episode is definitely my favorite, especially when they introduced a spoiler warning real quick. Spoiler warning. When they introduced Kingpin, that was really cool. Excited to see where that goes and stuff. And I thought the relationship between the Kate Bishop girl and Hawkeye was pretty cool. I wish they would have leaned into Hawkeye wanting to get back to his family more. You know, maybe centered it around family a little bit more, I guess. Besides that, I mean, they did a lot of stuff right. Episodes 3 on had some cool action. Story was interesting. I love when Yelena came back. As of right now, she's my favorite character out of all the new people they've introduced in Phase 4, so that was pretty cool. I love the conversation she had with Hawkeye about Black Widow in the finale. It was all great, okay? There was a few problems, but, you know, why go over them? The show is enjoyable. But, of course, coming in at first place, Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie was just straight up awesome, okay? I couldn't have asked for more, couldn't have asked for better. Well, I could. The first half was pretty bad. I didn't like the whole spell gimmick to get everything going. Once all the villains showed up, I honestly didn't care that the whole premise was kind of stupid. I loved when Aunt May said, "With great power comes great responsibility." That was awesome. Willem Dafoe steals the show as Green Goblin. Alfred Molina does a pretty good job at Doc Ock. All the other villains are great to see. Of course, Toby and Andrew coming back was great. Most of it just fan service stuff, but they do a great job at tying it all in, so you really feel like deep emotions, but you're also like, oh look, it's all the Spider-Man and the villains. So you get the fan service, the emotions. Love the ending. I love seeing Peter finally in his natural habitat, right? New York City by himself in some apartment, dealing with the struggles of the everyday man, not just living with Tony Stark and stuff, So that was cool. Loved this movie. Obviously the best. I mean, it's the best of these movies by a long shot, so obviously it comes in first place. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the ranking. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the content on the channel, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff. Hope to see you next time I publish a video.